CPTV Sports Run to the Sun crosses the starting line today at Sacred Heart High School in Waterbury. It's the NVL Championship between 21-1 Torrington and 19-1 Holy Cross, and it's next on CPTV Sports.
Capacity crowd expected here at Alumni Hall Gym at Sacred Heart with Adam Finkelstein. I'm Bill Spalding. Adam, these are the two teams that folks expected to get to this point basically all season long.
Well, it's a rematch of what was a one-possession game earlier in the season, and we're expecting nothing less here tonight, and the championship's at stake.
Now, both these teams have bona fide superstars, but to win a championship, you need role players as well. These teams both have really good role players. We'll start with Torrington and Brittany Anderson, who's a great defensive player.
Well, Torrington doesn't just have role players. They've got experienced role players, and Brittany's one of many seniors who can really step up. She does a great job on the defensive end, as you said, also on the glass. She has an impact beyond her stats, let's put it that way. She makes a lot of the small plays that don't end up in the stat sheet. Look for her to come up big here tonight.
For Holy Cross, Rashana Siders might get the headlines, but no player has a higher ceiling than freshman Century McCartney.
Well, I'll tell you what, she is exceptionally quick and a big-time talent. She comes off the bench and totally changes the game. She can create her own offense at will. She's also a terrific, better passer than she gets credit for as well.
Holy Cross looks to defend its NVL championship. Torrington looks to end the run for the Crusaders. Tip-off is next on CPTV Sports.
For the number 2 seed, Raiders of Torrington. Number 20, Brittany Anderson. Number 43, Caitlin Cornish. Number 25, Shelby Howe. Number 15, Bree Trivola. And number 12, Paige Middleton. Torrington's coached by Mike Fitch. And out for the number 1 seed, Crusaders of Holy Cross. Number 25, Casey Gazelle. Number 3, Jessica Berry. Number 11, Caitlin.
Inside the cozy confines of Alumni Hall with Adam Finkelstein, Bill Spalding. It's the NVL Championships. The defending champions from Holy Cross, the Torrington Red Raiders, the challengers at 21-1 this year. These teams played a 3-point game back in December. Torrington's won 17 in a row since. Holy Cross's only loss also in December at the Mercy Girls Basketball Tournament, a buzzer beater loss against Career Magnet.
Well, this is just the matchup we wanted. Everything's at stake, and this one's for all the marbles.
Here's a look at that Waterbury Crusaders starting lineup. Maybe what you miss is what you don't see there. Even though Century McCartney is the second leading scorer on the team, Adam, she actually comes off the bench as a freshman.
Well, how about, you talk about a sixth man or a sixth person, if you will. You're not going to find a better one than that. And let's be honest about something. The only reason she comes off the bench is because she's a freshman.
Yeah, she's tremendous, but Rashana Siders, the junior, still leads the team 18 points a game. The Crusaders are coached by Frank Lombardo. Torrington, meanwhile, led by Bree Pergola, just a sophomore guard, but she averages about 18 points a game. Torrington shoots an out of this world 45% from three.
Yeah, that's really a staggering number. I've never seen anything like that, to be honest. I mean, but you know, when you live by the 3, you die by the 3, and so that's going to be a big factor here tonight.
Torrington in maroon, Holy Cross in the white. Crusaders got here by beating Crosby 56-36 in the semis. Torrington had its worst offensive game of the season, struggling from 3, like you said, and winning just 45-42 last time out.
Well, the nerves of a big game can do that to you, and sometimes it's a lot easier to score at the rim in a big game than it is from downtown. So let's see if that continues here tonight, or if they can get something going from behind the arc.
Pergola was out of control on that first possession, so Holy Cross gets it through the offensive end. An open look for Jessica Berry is no good. Here's a crash of the glass and a putback for Katie Grimshaw. The junior forward starts the scoring.
Well, you know, not only did Torrington as well as they typically do the other night, but they also didn't defend the three-point line well, and that was a factor right on that first possession.
You see Paige Middleton get inside, and on a team that has Bree Pergola scoring 18 a game. Middleton, a senior guard, is a good second option. She averages about 12 points tonight.
Well, great give-and-go option, getting something at the rim.
DeZinzo off on 3, but again, another open look for Holy Cross from 3. Here's a Crusader foul on Jessica Berry, her first and the first of this game.
Well, 2 possessions and 2 three-point attempts, and more importantly, 2 three-point attempts that were in rhythm as they were able to step in and fire without breaking their stride.
Yeah, Mike Fritsch, the head coach for Torrington, was not very pleased after Monday night's game. You watched the video interviews of him post-game, and you could kind of sense his upset with his team's play. Only had a couple of days to bounce back with just 1 day of practice, and so far a couple open looks for Holy Cross. Here's Rashana Siders, averages 18 a game, and she draws a foul on Bree Pergola. If Siders can get Pergola, that could really alter the outlook of this game.
Well, they're going to have to adjust to her dribble penetration, because she's going to attack all night long, and they've got to have early help, stop that ball early in transition.
Adam, you and I saw this Holy Cross team playing Laurelton Hall back in December, and you were really impressed with both Siders and McCartney and just how quick their first steps were to get into the lane.
Well, they're both explosive off the dribble, and especially when they're in the open floor like this. I think they're unique because they can create east to west as well as north to south, and what I mean by that is it doesn't just have to be in the open floor, it can come in the half court too, but when they are in transition, they're absolutely lethal.
Siders had 21 in the semifinal win over Crosby. She has her first 2 here, and now a steal. Throws it back up and gets it to go. It's a great start for Holy Cross.
Well, how about the hands and then a great finish, a little bit of a sky hook shot type thing going on there.
Scorers just find a way to get it to go from any type of look. And now Torrington needs to get into an offensive rhythm. You see Siders harassing on the defense. She averages 4 steals a game as well. Open look down low, doesn't go for Cornish. Follows, batted around, and Caitlin Cipriano grabs a rebound momentarily. It's hot potato as Cornish gets it back. It was a foul. Both teams may be a bit nervy in the start here.
Here's what I like about Torrington's approach. They're passing the ball very, very well. They've got to finish a couple more plays, but they're being unselfish and also putting the passes on time and on target.
Get a look at that foul on Siders, her first. So both Pergola and Siders, the top 2 players for each team, have picked up a foul in the first minute and 47 seconds. Caitlin Cornish, a 5'8" junior, wasn't a starter at the early part of the season, but has worked her way into the playing rotation due to great rebounding. Averages about 5 rebounds a game. Goes 1 for 2 from the stripe, and Siders is back at it, full head of steam to the offensive end.
And you can already tell just the different tempos that both teams want to play at. There's one team that's picking up full court, another team that's sitting back in the 2-3 zone. So look for the tempo of this one to be a very important indicator of success as well.
Siders threw that up, and Cipriano picks up the foul. We've seen some open looks for Holy Cross from 3 so far, Adam, but if Torrington can cover the 3 ball a little bit better, do you think the zone might be the best defense for trying to keep a player like Siders or McCartney later on in the game out of the lane?
Yeah, certainly there's value in the zone in terms of containing dribble penetration because your help side defenders are already in their spots. But I think, you know, the vulnerability is obviously the 3-point line.
That danced around the rim for Cornish, and Torrington's responded with 3 in a row. These teams played a 69-66 game. That's really high scoring at this level in the NVL girls basketball back in December. It was a win for Holy Cross. Siders off on the 3 there. That time she was challenged by half.
Yeah, you took the words right out of my mouth. That was a lot different than the first 2 attempts. We saw you get another look at that transition bucket on the other end for Torrington, and you see again, it was a result of another nice passes. They're really sharing the ball nicely.
Foul in the backcourt. If this is on Siders, It's her second.
Holy Cross fouls at number 24.
It is. It's 2 fouls on Siders quickly, which means we're going to get a look at the talented freshman Century McCartney. Usually they're a fearsome double duo. Today, McCartney might have to see extra minutes in Siders' role.
Well, I think McCartney is going to see big-time minutes anyway. The key to me is now she comes into the game and she's used to kind of being a secondary scorer, but she's got to step into that signature role immediately. And so we'll see as a freshman how she adjusts to that in this type of atmosphere.
Here's a deep three, and it's good for Shelby Howe. Those Torrington Long Bombers finally get their first to fall today.
Well, give them credit. They attacked the rim, and they did it with the pass. And when you open the game like that, you establish the way you're going to attack, and it forced the defense to collapse. That got them that open look.
DeZinzo answers quickly. Senior averages about 6 a game, and with Siders in foul trouble early, DeZinzo might be that secondary scorer out there at a senior to steady the freshman McCartney.
Well, in 3 minutes, Holy Cross has now attempted 4 3-pointers, if I'm not mistaken. 3 of them were wide open looks in rhythm.
And we see a travel for Torrington. Here's a look at that wide open 3-pointer again. There's just nobody in the area code when DeZinzo makes it.
Well, that's the forward who needs to come out. The guards were up top pressuring the ball, and on that first pass to the wing, the forward has got to come out, show on the initial catch until the guard can come over and bump her back down.
McCartney gets the touch here. Then averages about 15 points a game as a freshman, but she whips this pass straight out of bounds.
Well, and see, that was Brittany Anderson, who we talked about in the opener, and that's one of those plays that I talked about. Not something you're going to see on the stat sheet, but notice how she was sitting on the post player's upper hip, and what that allowed her to do was both get in the way of the pass as well as get out and contest the three-point line.
Holy Cross sits back into that man-to-man defense. A 3 in the corner doesn't go for Anderson. Offensive rebound to Cornish. Straight cut through for Middleton. Shovels it out of control. Was challenged by DeZinzo. Again, slippery ball here early, and we see Middleton wipe out right by the scorer's table.
That didn't look good.
She's a senior, a really experienced part of this Torrington club.
I've never seen that. She got her foot stuck under the scoreboard.
Wow. You don't see that very often. You saw her just slip and her foot stuck right underneath.
Well, and how about this? Now the crowd, and I will say this, there are people here who are not pleased that this game is in Sacred Heart High School, and the calls from the crowd already now because of that player playing a smaller gym next time.
Yeah,
and you look how close that scoreboard is to half court.
Yeah, you see, she just didn't even slip underneath it, ran straight into the scorer's table, and it knocked her down. Looks to be okay, which is good, because you've seen flukier injuries than that.
Well, and as a senior especially, this is kind of the pinnacle of their career. You never want to see them go out like this. And let me say this, I actually like the atmosphere here. I think it's a lot of fun because you got everybody jammed in. The acoustics are great, but it's obviously a little bit of a hot topic right now.
Yeah, the cozy confines for sure. Tightly packed here, and we'll talk about it more at halftime. Here's a straightaway 3 for Barry. Another open look, but it's short, and Pergola grabs the long board. Run out up ahead to Shelby Howe. No good on the layup. Those are the types of shots in a game with 2 very good offensive teams that you can't afford to miss all that often.
Well, and Torrington's getting looks at point-blank range. That was the first time it came in transition, but they're moving really well without the ball in the half court as well. They just got to finish more plays.
Still sitting in the 2-3 zone. Another open 3 for DeZinzo. It's her second.
Now notice what I meant about the forward. That was Orsini. No, I'm sorry, excuse me. That was Middleton, who was down there on the forward spot, who was stayed home on the post instead of coming out to challenge the three-point shooter. The forwards have got to be more aggressive coming out to defend those wings initially on that catch.
Howe way too strong from about 5 feet away. Looked like she didn't really want to shoot it. Here's the freshman McCartney speeding ahead. Finds Cipriano, easy bucket.
Give McCartney a lot of credit. Would have been easy for her to come in and try and do too much, but she's kind of let the game come to her, and that is a big-time pass. You know, we've talked about how explosive she is. She's got tremendous size for the perimeter as well.
And Cipriano's an important post player for this Holy Cross team. Averages 10 points, 12 rebounds a game inside. She altered the shot, but Howe still got it to go. 5 for the senior Shelby Howe in the early going.
Well, Torrington continuing to move well without the ball, and it's all about their face cuts. What they're doing is they're doing a give and go, but as soon as the player passes, they are cutting across the face of their defender. Holy Cross has got to prevent that by jumping to the ball.
Another open 3, and this time DeZinzo can't get it to go. Here's an offensive board for Cipriano. Grimshaw to the rim, foul.
Notice how Anderson did a better job of coming out, though, and contesting that look. I think she's doing a nice job on this side of the floor. They've got to get similar coverage on that left side of the floor to guard the three-point line.
Well, we talked before the game about how Brittany Anderson is maybe the defensive linchpin for this Torrington team. As senior, she rebounds so well, and you're right, she's doing a good job covering her side of the floor on the zone so far. Foul was on Caitlin Cornish, her first, already the second on Torrington. Holy Cross has been tagged for 4 early fouls. No good for the junior Katie Grimshaw. She averages close to 6 points a game. Here's a look at that foul, and what do you think about just that aggressive take going right at the center Cornish?
Well, I think one of the things that goes to your advantage, when the other team's in zone, you have more offensive rebounding opportunities, and Holy Cross is doing a nice job of crashing the glass and trying to take advantage of that.
One more free throw coming for Katie Grimshaw.
Using all of her 10 seconds here.
It had to be pretty close to the count, but she gets the free throw to go. 5-point lead for Holy Cross, the defending champs. Only loss this year was a wild one, a buzzer beater. Lost to Career Magnet by 1 in the semifinals of the Mercy tournament back in December on a shot that banked in at the buzzer from Career Magnet. So they're a couple of bounces away from maybe being an undefeated squad. Pergola goes hard and has her first bucket of the game, plus the harm.
Well, heck of a play, and that's back-to-back now because she had that great give and go on the last possession, but terrific composure handling the ball against pressure. Then she sees the lane open up there, takes advantage, and great angle. She got her hip inside that defender, never let her back in the play.
Mentioned Pergola is the team leader at 18 points a game, and we talked about the crazy Torrington stat line of 45% from 3. Pergola's better than 50% from 3 as a sophomore.
That is crazy. And when you're that good of a shooter, you can see it comes off her hand real pretty. When you're that good of a shooter, it forces defenders to crowd up on you, gives you that much more opportunity to drive the ball to the rim.
Run the floor and an open look for Andrea Penticino. Chips right out of bounds. Well, if you're Holy Cross here, you have that slight lead, even though you've had to deal with a bunch of this game with Rashana Siders on the bench already due to foul trouble. If you can just kind of tread water and keep the scoreline right around here for the next few minutes to allow Siders to stay on the bench, if you're Frank Lombardo on the sideline, do you feel like you're kind of winning the game if you can do that?
Yeah, I think so. The only thing that I would say, I think Torrington's getting better looks. Holy Cross has been very perimeter-oriented at the three-point line. Torrington's more inside out.
Mia Barbieri hits the free throw line jumper, 15-14. Just a 1-point lead for Holy Cross after 4 in a row for Torrington.
And I think the reason why it's so important that Torrington is establishing their game in the paint, even though it's not really a post game, it's more a cutting and passing game, but they're getting points in the paint. That will open up the three-point shooting game later on.
Kick on Pergola. Possession stays with Holy Cross. A couple of threes already today for Casey DeZinzo. Checks back into the game. Century McCartney's had a couple assists since entering the game, but hasn't scored. Rashana Siders had a quick 4 before she picked up 2 fouls. McCartney drives.
Well, and to your point, Bill, the lane swallowed up right there and didn't let her in, and that is the value in the zone.
Did leave an open look for DeZinzo, couldn't hit that time. McCartney, you have to be impressed as a freshman, still really letting the game come to her.
Yeah, and even that three-pointer, I think it was the same rotation. Another great cut.
Pergola got free, couldn't finish, and McCartney grabs the board and travels.
Well, that's a different kind of cut. We've seen a lot of give and goes on the face cuts. That was an old school back cut, the backdoor cut that people might remember from a Princeton-style offense is what you saw right there for Torrington.
Holy Cross 19-1. They've won 16 in a row. Meanwhile, Torrington has won 17 straight. They're 21-1. They beat an upset-minded Kennedy squad 45-42 on Monday night in a game that didn't leave their head coach Mike Fritsch very happy. Holy Cross, on the other hand, blew out Crosby with a 20-point lead. Pergola's got another, and now it's a lead for Torrington for the first time since very early on.
Well, and you think about it, when you've got players like Pergola and McCartney on the floor who are still just underclassmen, these two teams might be here for a long time.
Lana Ward, another freshman, part of this young nucleus for Holy Cross, scores. Siders will be back for Holy Cross next year as well, so they have a good chance if they can win today of being the favorites again for a three-peat after winning last year's championship. Torrington, though, has Pergola as sophomore, but their other 5 key players are all seniors, so they will graduate a lot but still have that building block to work around.
Well, that's why I think it's really been an ideal situation for Pergola, because she's been able to kind of evolve as a star without having the same level of responsibility on her shoulders because of the amount of depth and experience that she has around her.
Hand check on Shelby Howe. Holy Cross can take the last shot of this quarter if they want to. Again, 2 fouls on Siders quickly. Do you think we will see her play again this half? Do you expect her to come in the second quarter?
I think it depends on what the score is. I think if Holy Cross starts to feel the momentum of this game turn, they'll get her back in.
Chance for an open look there, but instead Pentasio passes out of it.
Smart play. They need the last shot here, especially with Siders on the bench. Nice.
Enter it for Ward. Tough shot doesn't go. Good rebound for Torrington. Pergola from half court won't even let it go. And it's a very exciting first quarter. A 17-16 lead for Holy Cross in the NVL championship game on cptv Sports. Who will rise? Join cptv Sports on a journey for the run to the sun. Each boys and girls CIAC basketball championship game will be available live on cptv Sports. That's 8 games, special features, recap shows, and more. Over 15 hours of total coverage. Visit cptvsports.org for broadcast listings in your area. The Run to the Sun, March 21st and March 22nd, live from the Mohegan Sun Arena. Well, here in the NVL championship game, a strong first quarter, and now a bucket for Caitlin Cipriano right out of the chute, plus the foul to give the defending champs from Holy Cross a 3-point lead.
Well, and it's just as close as we expected here through the first 8 minutes, and living up to the hype with a lot of great offense, a lot of points in that first quarter.
Yeah, we talked about 2 of the best offensive players in the NVL in this game. Pergola for Torrington, well, she was fairly quiet in the first quarter with 4 points. Siders for Holy Cross, who had 4 quick points and picked up her second foul just 3 minutes into the game. We haven't seen her since. It's been a balanced effort for the Crusaders. You and I, Adam, talked at the beginning of this game about how important role players are to a championship team. We're seeing that right off the bat for Holy Cross, as there's an offensive board for Ward and a foul on Torrington's Mia Barbieri.
Yeah, and I thought offensively, regardless of how many Pergola has right now, I thought Torrington's got to be very happy with their offensive efficiency and the quality of looks they're getting. And I think, if anything, they've got to try and clean things up defensively. We've talked about the rotations in the zone. It's a couple offensive rebounds they've given up right now, and you can see Coach Fritsch not happy about it. Those are the adjustments they need to make, more so than the offensive end.
Ward gets free off on the jumper, but she's in that soft spot of the zone right there at the free throw line. Maybe the most important player on the floor when you're going against a 2-3 zone.
Well, absolutely, and what's interesting, though, is she's just kind of camping out there. A lot of zone offenses will flash players in and out of the high post, but by just kind of staying there, I think what Torrington can do is have one of their guards kind of sit on her leg and prevent that pass into the high post.
DeZinzo off on that one. She's 2 for her first 5 from downtown. Holy Cross has cooled off a bit from the outside. McCartney bats that one out of bounds. That's not to say the looks, though, still have not been there for Holy Cross. They've gotten a lot of high-quality 3-point looks so far.
They have, but I really think it's mostly on that left side of the floor. I think Anderson's doing a nice job on the right side of the floor. I thought she missed a rotation early, but then she made a nice adjustment. And I think now it's really just a matter of establishing that second side of the floor as well as they have the first.
Anderson picked up well by DeZinzo. Howe for three. We're tied.
But notice all the space and time she had. That's a product of their passing and cutting game. They're getting so much going on in the paint. It's forcing the defense to be really anchored inside and thus giving them better looks from the perimeter.
She has 8, and you can see why they shoot such a good percentage from outside, because it's a heck of a lot easier to shoot 45% from 3 when you're getting wide open, clean looks than shooting those contested 3-pointers.
Well, and I think their shot selection, to your point, has been just really, really good. They've made good decisions offensively almost every time up the floor.
Haven't seen very many turnovers yet either today. Very high level of basketball between these two teams. Cipriano's there for another follow, and she has a quick 6.
Well, that's kind of the double-edged sword that Torrington's really got to account for. You know, they're trying to protect against dribble penetration, but they're giving up second chance points because of the zone.
And that's how Cipriano gets most of her points. She creates her own offense by getting those offensive boards.
And that's such a luxury to have, because you don't have to run you don't have to run plays for players like that. They go out and get their points on their own.
Pergola with a quick catch and shoot. How crisp does that look?
Well, and that's a college caliber move, because she came off that little curl right there, had great footwork, and able to square both her shoulders and her feet.
And she's just a sophomore for Torrington, 21-1 on the season, trying to knock off the defending champs from Holy Cross. Quick foul on Cornish, her second, and already the 6th on Torrington.
But a better job by Cornish of getting out and being there on the catch to take away that 3-point shot, and a pretty good job of the Torrington guard to get over there. And what happens then, Cornish comes out, shows on the initial catch. As soon as the guard gets there, that's what's called the bump, and Cornish has got to quickly retreat back to her typical position.
Kendrick Covington has entered now in that spot. Cornish was holding on that far wing. Long 3 for McCartney's no good. And the rebound ends up in the hands of Torrington's Brittany Anderson. That might have been the first forced shot from McCartney so far today.
Yeah, no, and I think, again, as a freshman, it's who's been relatively quiet, you know, she's going to start to look for her offense more and more, especially as Sider stays on the floor.
Pergola's off. And a rebound for Covington. Kendrick Covington, a senior, 5'6" forward. Resets the offense here for this Torrington team. Has to be pleased that they have 21 points, with just 6 coming from their top scorer, Pergola.
Pretty.
Here she is on the back cut, hanging and scoring.
Yeah, as good of a cutting team as I've seen all season long. I mean, I thought that shot that Pergola took was a forced one, and one of the first ones we've seen, but they're really doing a nice job of moving players and moving the ball.
And they have their second lead of this game. Cipriano, jump ball call. Looked like there was some contact first. Possession arrow will give it to Torrington. And here comes Rashana Siders. You mentioned when the momentum shifted, you thought we'd see Siders again. Well, Torrington's rattled off 4 straight, and they re-enter Holy Cross's star, Rashana Siders.
It is a risk, though. I mean, it's still just a 2-point game with 5 minutes to play. As aggressive as she is now, this is where the zone, I think, is critical, because now you've got both of Holy Cross's star players on the floor together for the first time tonight.
Well, and if you're Siders, you play that aggressive defense, full court pressure. So what can you do here to defend without fouling?
Well, you know, believe it or not, if I would be more concerned with her picking up a charge. She's such an aggressive driver. I think defending without fouling is almost easier than driving without fouling against a zone, because it's really just a matter of being smart with your hands.
That's Kendrick Covington who hits the 3. And again, that's how Torrington gets you. They have 6 different players capable of knocking down an outside shot. Largest lead of the game for the Raiders. Cipriano sealed off, couldn't hit. Anderson pushes the pace.
Holy Cross did a nice job of getting back that time.
Pergola's now been picked up by Katie Grimshaw, who was face guarding her. Pergola still gets the ball, but throws it away. Threw it into traffic, and Cipriano picked it off.
And that's what they got to be careful of. Turnovers will lead to run-out opportunities for Holy Cross.
Grimshaw walked first. Oh yeah, this is where Holy Cross is at its best in transition, especially when they have both Siders and McCartney out there. You noticed on that fast break that it was McCartney leading the charge, Siders trailing. Do you think that To keep Siders out of potential danger of picking up that offensive foul, or was that just a product of the situation?
I think your basketball IQ is ahead of theirs. I think that was purely accidental.
7 turnovers for Holy Cross as Pergola's free again. You give her space, she'll make you pay. She has 10. Timeout, Holy Cross.
Again, that is a college caliber move. A quick pull-up, stopped on a dime, got it off in rhythm.
So a 6-point lead for Torrington. They've scored 8 in a row. The Hartford Foundation for Public Giving and WNPR are looking for everyday acts of kindness through Words to Give By, a community-wide storytelling project. Over the coming weeks, WNPR will travel to 15 towns across central Connecticut to record personal stories of generosity. Next week, mobile recording studios will be in Hartford, Windsor, and East Granby. Inspire us with a story of a coach, teammate, or anyone who has changed your life in a positive way, or nominate an unsung hero to share their story. For more information or to sign up for a recording session, go to wordstogiveby.org. Again, they'll be in Hartford, Windsor, and East Granby next week. 8-0 run, capped by this bucket from Bri Pergola, who has a quick 10 points. You mentioned it, the quick stop and pop.
Well, it was a great read in transition because she saw that defender backpedaling. She read that she had the pull-up and just made it in rhythm. Really impressed by her basketball IQ, not just yours, but hers as well.
She probably has me out there on the hardwood for sure. Here's McCartney getting pushed, knocks it out. It's a lot easier to have the basketball IQ when you're sitting up here than when you're in the heat of the action down there.
Yes, it is. It's easier to coach the game up here too.
Open look for Grimshaw, lays it off instead for Cipriano. Here's a follow from Ward, who's been very aggressive on the boards. Siders off on the 3, her first shot attempt in more than a quarter. Another chance for Siders. See if she can find that rhythm she had early on in the game before the 2 fouls.
Well, and you can see the zone is working in terms of shrinking the floor and dribble penetration just like that, but they've got to do a better job on the defensive glass.
Cipriano dribbles it off her foot, and Torrington takes it back. This Holy Cross team's not a team that relies on the outside shot. They're a slashing team, and so far the zone has frustrated their top scorers. Anderson, couple efforts, couldn't get it to go, and Cipriano cleans the glass once more. She has been outstanding rebounding the basketball.
And behind her back, the ball goes. Pretty play.
Siders wide open for her first 3.
And again, I've used this word already tonight. I'll continue to use it. That shot was in rhythm. She got her stepping into the pass, and it's a lot easier to make shots that way than when the pass is off target or takes you out of your rhythm.
It ends the 8-0 run. She had 4 threes in the win in the semis. How about Pergola using the window on the fall away?
Well, that shot went in, but I don't think that was a good shot. I think that was more of a kind of a youthful mistake, trying to get one back on your own. Torrington has been good so far because they've scored within their offense. They've trusted their stuff.
Foul on Torrington, last possession. Finally got Rashana Siders something in rhythm. Clean look for her from pretty far behind the 3-point line.
Well, and you know what was great about that pass too? It led her into the shot. As you said, she was a couple feet beyond it. The pass took her so she could step into the ball, and that's exactly where you want to put it.
That foul on Mia Barbieri was her second, already the 7th on Torrington. So a 1-and-1 opportunity here for Caitlin Cipriano. It was not the best free throw shooter, right around 50% of the season, and 0 for 1 so far today. Holy Cross, the defending NVL champs, did not lose a conference game during the regular season. Torrington lost just once to this Holy Cross squad. There's Ward on the offensive glass again, and the tie-up with Covington keeps possession with Holy Cross.
Tell you what, though, neither team cares about that first game right now. This is the only one that matters.
Yep.
Screen back in for the inbounder. There it is.
Torrington's definitely expanded its wing defense here to try and take away those corner threes. Tough shot didn't go, and Pergola brings it the other way.
They have, and what's happened as a result, and give Holy Cross credit, they've had an easier time getting the ball to the high post, but I think the offensive rebounding has really been Holy Cross's best offense here because they're not able to get the typical dribble drives that they usually rely on.
Torrington, though, has scored 10 of the last 13 to build a 5-point lead. Pergola ran into trouble, but here it comes right back to the point. Recycle the possession for Shelby Howe and the Torrington Raiders.
Yeah, Pergola's trying to do a little bit too much right now. She's got to settle back in and trust the offense.
Haven't seen much of Paige Middleton ever since she left the game after slipping on the scorer's table.
Right.
She's the secondary scorer for this team, yet they've still found other players to score. An open look for Covington doesn't go, and a good defensive rebound by Ward. Here's the push out with Siders and McCartney. Siders past the defender, doesn't get it to go. Cipriano's got another second chance bucket.
Well, Torrington's got to do a better job of getting back in transition. They had 3 different defenders jogging behind that play, and you can see right now Coach Fritz using a timeout, I think, just to get his kids a little bit of break and a breather. Look at all the time they have. Still only 2 red shirts, and there's a third.
And an open look and finish for Cipriano, who has been very good so far today. Eyewitness News is always on at WFSB.com at your desktop or on the go. Channel 3 is delivering local news when and where you want it. Eyewitness News is on your side. CPTV Sports pleased to bring you this NVL championship game. Girls championships are this week. The boys championships are next week. If you're watching this live on cptvsports.org, we will have the Southwest Conference Girls Basketball Championship tomorrow. Should be another very good game. And then there will be another championship game the following day on Friday.
Yeah, Shoreline Girls
League,
on Friday, yep.
And the Shoreline League has a very good Morgan squad again this year, still undefeated on the season under head coach Joe Grippo.
Well, that's a rematch of a game we did just a couple weeks ago. Morgan against Cromwell.
Yep.
Should be a great one on Friday night.
Seems like every single year those two teams going head-to-head in the Shoreline League Championship.
Well, they've both been really close, and it's hard to beat a team 3 times in a row, especially when you are very close in talent. So we'll see if Morgan can pull off that improbable feat.
Defense has picked things up for Holy Cross here. They're really starting to jump the passing lanes in the final minute of this first half. And as we expected, it's just a 1-possession game.
Better patience here offensively from Torrington.
Good look for Cordish, doesn't go, and an aggressive offensive board and foul drawn by Pergola, who rebounded in amongst the taller forwards.
Well, I think that's really been the key for Torrington. When they've trusted their offense, especially early in the possession, and gone to their cutting game, they move that Holy Cross defense, and then as the possession goes on, the defenders just become a little more fatigued, and then they're able to get the open looks they're looking for.
Pergola's good. 13 points for Bree Pergola, who had just 4 in the first quarter, but has picked things up here in quarter 2. In the matchup of 2 of the top scorers in the NVL, well, of course, Siders has been limited due to foul trouble, but she's being outscored at this point 13-7 by Pergola, and maybe the more important number, 0. That's 0 points for Century McCartney, the star freshman for Holy Cross.
Yeah, and that's a lot to ask for. What I've been impressed with, though, you see McCartney's playing as the point here and doing a nice job of distributing the ball.
Siders off on the 3. That was a quick trigger, but it's out off of Torrington, so another second chance on the offensive end for Holy Cross.
A better block out that time from Torrington, though. They just weren't able to hang on to the ball. Second time in a row, Holy Cross has run that same inbound set.
And this time Siders can't get it to go. Yeah, they've tried that screen a couple of times. Really hard collision there down on the hardwood. And Gabby Goldman's slow to get back to her feet. She'll quickly exit the game with 29 seconds to go.
You know, especially when you're in a zone, you hear parents and even coaches lots of times saying, box out, box out, box out. Well, you can see Torrington did box out there, but they boxed out everybody on the strong side of the floor. 75% of rebounds come off to the opposite end. They've got to get opposite first and then worry about boxing out.
Oh, huge screen from Anderson. It's clean.
That is
and
clean.
Torrington moves it into the front court. Wide open look for Howe. 5-on-4 doesn't go. And it is out off of Torrington. Give it back to Holy Cross. Oh, that was a huge collision. Megan Villano or Jessica Berry were knocked down. I believe it was actually Berry who got drilled at midcourt. You see it, didn't even see it coming on the blind side screen from Brittany Anderson.
That's her teammate's fault. Her teammate didn't tell her it was coming, and so she was totally blind.
She's back up, and now she'll head off to the bench. That's one of those where if you're just watching, you might yell for a foul because it looks a whole lot worse than it was. But when we get the second look, it was a completely legitimate screen.
And just because it was a big hit doesn't mean it was illegal. And so while I'm sure that was painful and even potentially dangerous, again, I think that's her teammate's fault for not communicating.
8 seconds to go in the half. Holy Cross looking to end with a bucket. Open look for Villano. No! And a foul on the rebound. It goes on McCartney with 2 seconds to go. That's foul number 7 on Holy Cross. So bring Torrington the full length of the floor to shoot a 1-and-1 free throw. Best news is that's Paige Middleton who's back into the game. We saw her sit out for a while after that fluke accident where she got her foot stuck beneath the scorer's table, but she's back out here at the end of this first half and will head to the free throw line for 1-and-1 opportunity. Don't forget at halftime, we'll have Adam Finkelstein catch up with Holy Cross head coach Frank Lombardo before the break, and we'll get Coach Lombardo's talk and his thoughts on this first half. It's been nip and tuck in Torrington with the slight lead. It's a high arcer from Middleton who got the rainbow to fall. Yeah, for Frank Lombardo, there'll be some real question marks heading into the second half on the offensive end. What can they do to get more looks at the rim for Siders and McCartney? Meanwhile, Mike Fritsch has to be pretty pleased with the defensive adjustments. Held Holy Cross to just 7 points in the second quarter. Middleton goes 1 for 2. McCartney doesn't get a shot off, and Holy Cross surrenders 13 of the final 18 points to allow Torrington to take a 6-point lead into the locker room. A 32-26 lead for Holy Cross over Torrington. So Holy Cross hasn't lost in NVL play, but they head in the locker room down by 6. Torrington 21-1, winners of 17 straight, trying to move to 18 in a row and knock off the defending champs from Holy Cross in a nip and tuck close game. A 32-26 lead for Torrington, led by 14 from Bree Pergola for Torrington. Caitlin Cipriano's 8 lead Holy Cross. Here's a look at 2 of those 8 as we head to break on cptv Sports. We're back here at halftime at Sacred Heart High School. A close 32-26 lead for Torrington over Holy Cross. Back here up at our broadcast location with Tim Gaffney of the Litchfield County Sports. He's just over my shoulder. Bill Spalding, glad to be with you. And Tim, that was an interesting half. You saw Rashauna Siders, the top scorer for Holy Cross, have to deal with a lot of foul trouble. Torrington's Bree Pergola got off to a slow start, but really got things going in the second quarter.
Is that a special young player or what?
Yes.
Just a sophomore.
Oh, she is tremendous. And so is the freshman Century McCartney for Holy Cross, but Torrington's defense really seemed to limit her in that first half.
It certainly did. And I think part of what a little insight for you guys is yesterday during practice, Torrington beat Kennedy to get to this point in a game that really didn't look very good. They played a 45-42 game is what they won and looked terrible. Yesterday, Mike Fritz Sr. and one of his brilliant moves put 7 players on the court against Bree. Now, this is a young lady as a sophomore who is already said to be almost as talented as Sarah Royals, the young lady that played for Torrington and now plays Division I for the University of Albany. He challenged her to take over this kind of game. This is the kind of game that he needs her to probably go out and win it. And with 14 first half points, you can see why this young lady is so special.
Yeah, and I know they struggled on Monday night in that 3-point win. Their defense, especially giving up the 9 3-pointers, that was something Mike Fritz was not very happy with. Today, it seemed like for the first couple of minutes that Holy Cross got some open looks from 3, but the defense really tightened up, and Holy Cross ended the half at just 3 for 15 from 3. What did you see defensively for Torrington?
You know, I think in some cases it's what happens when you get Holy Cross and Torrington together. They're up by 6. This is nowhere near over. There'll be a couple of more runs in the second half, as there have been for the last 10 years, where one or the other of these teams is always in this final, and they're normally playing each other. Some of those threes are going to go. Torrington's going to have to tighten up their defense so there's not so many open looks on the threes, because they were going down in the first quarter, not in the second. So, the great thing about Frank Lombardo from Holy Cross and Mike Fritz from Torrington is they'd love to play each other 10 times a year, because they just, bring out the best in each other. Both of these teams are playing terrific.
How about other teams in the Litchfield County area as we move forward towards the postseason and the state tournament? Obviously, the conference championships are important, but there is that ultimate state tournament goal. Who do you think can surprise some people out of the Litchfield County area?
Well, obviously, in Litchfield County, you've got the Thomaston Golden Bears, the defending Class S champions, who will get a bye next week and will start action next Thursday at home. The Cave, as they call it in Thomaston, is one of the best places that you guys have been to cover a game, and it's just absolutely terrific. Will they go as far to get to Mohegan Sun 3 years in a row for the Golden Bears? That's quite a task, but Bobby McMahon and company down there, I think, will do their darndest to get them there. So
how about a team that maybe had a slow start to the season, but that finished the season strong and could surprise some people in the tournament?
Nonawag and Thomaston battle on Friday night for the Berkshire League Championship, and Nonawag's got a couple of pretty cool, pretty good players on their team also that they might end up making a little run in the States. Surprise a couple of folks.
All right, Tim, thank you so much. Tim Gaffney from Litchfield County Sports. Thanks for joining us. Now, back here at Sacred Heart High School, a 32-26 lead for Torrington over Holy Cross, the defending champs. Torrington led by 14 points from Bree Pergola. They've been moving off the ball so well. Pergola especially moving without the basketball to create looks, and here's just one example of that, as Bree Pergola did a tremendous job getting right to the rim. And now Rick Wilson will come and join us as well. Rick Wilson from both the Litchfield County Sports and the Republican American right here in Waterbury, making a way into our tough to reach broadcast position here high above the court inside Alumni Hall at Sacred Heart. Well, we've got Rick Wilson with us now, and Rick, first thing I want to ask you about is the fact that we've already seen the cozy confines of Alumni Hall come into play today. The game was moved here from Kennedy in the last couple of days. It's a tight, compact court, and we saw early on Paige Middleton get caught up with the scorers table. What do you think about them moving the game to this cozy atmosphere?
Little disappointing. The game has been at Kennedy for a number of years. It's got bleachers all the way around, more of a traditional gym. This, because of the close confines, creates a great atmosphere. I think there's probably a better facility they could have held it in.
And what do you think about the first half overall, and especially the adjustments Torrington made from the first quarter to the second quarter?
Just a terrific effort so far by Torrington. They didn't play well the other night. They snuck out a victory, but probably their least impressive performance in the last last month or so. But terrific job, particularly defensive. Outside of Caitlin Cipriano, they really kind of limited Holy Cross and what they were able to do, running their offense to perfection. I think the second half, what's going to be interesting is Holy Cross has a lot of weapons, and can Torrington keep this up, and where are we going with that?
And now let's look forward for these two teams heading towards the postseason. Holy Cross got very close last year, losing to New London, the eventual Class M state winners in the semifinals. Do you think this is a team built for a long run in the state tournament?
I think there's certainly potential there. I mean, they have a legitimate star, if you will, in Rashana Siders, who can light it up at any time. Caitlin Cipriano, like I said, I keep saying they have a lot of weapons. Casey DeZino off the bench, and I think even in this game, the second half, that's what Torrington's going to have to watch. Can they hold off all those weapons? But yeah, Holy Cross can make a run. He's got a decent draw, just looking at it quickly. He's got some potential here.
All right, that's Rick Wilson from the Republican American in Litchfield County Sports. Thank you so much for joining us.
It's a pleasure.
We'll be back with the second half coming up next on CPTV Sports.
Facilities than this to play.
Back here at Alumni Hall at Sacred Heart in Waterbury. NVL championship game between the two teams expected to get here all season long. Second-seeded Torrington, defending champs, undefeated in NVL play during the regular season. Holy Cross. With Adam Finkelstein, I'm Bill Spalding. Well, Adam, as we look at the first half stats, one number really jumps out, and that's the 3 for 15 from 3 for Holy Cross. They were trying to shoot Torrington out of the zone, but didn't really have a whole lot of success at doing that.
Well, and they got some open looks, especially early in the half there, and I think you know, you look at the numbers, both teams made 3 threes. Torrington attempted 10 less. I just thought that Torrington's offensive execution was much, much better, especially in that second quarter.
Well, yeah, that's a surprising number for Torrington, just the 5 three-point attempts. They're generally much more reliant on the 3, but today they've really used the off-ball cuts to create good looks to get inside.
Well, that's the reason why they're shooting such a high percentage, is because they're only taking really good shots and putting a lot of pressure on the interior of that defense with their passing and cutting game.
For Holy Cross, their best offensive player in the first half was Caitlin Cipriano, 8 points, 6 of them off offensive rebounds. Rashana Siders, limited by foul trouble, the leading scorer on the year for Holy Cross, had just 7. And Century McCartney, who averages 15 a game, did not score in the first half for white-clad Holy Cross. Torrington was led by 14 points from the sophomore Bree Pergola and 8 from Shelby Howe. One of the things that Tim Gaffney told us at halftime, Adam, was that yesterday in practice, Torrington had Bree Pergola go up against 7 defensive players during the game, and that Coach Fritsch was telling her that that was the type of game she needed to take over. Seemed like she really did that in the second quarter.
7?
7 players, yeah. They put 7 defenders out on the floor against her.
I don't even know what to say to that. I mean, how do you do that? Hey, I guess, you know what, let me say this. She made some tough shots in that second quarter. I thought, though, that the team was at their best when they got shots like that, within the flow of the offense, and that's when I think she was at her best as well.
The members bounce for Shelby Howe was 10. It's the largest lead of the game for Torrington, 34-26, as the Raiders look to avenge their only loss of the regular season 18 games ago, 69-66 against these Holy Cross Crusaders. With an offense like Holy Cross has, though, an 8-point game this early is no done deal at all. You got players like Siders and McCartney who can go on scoring spurts in just a matter of a couple of minutes. There's Siders with the first 2.
How about that play? I mean, the paint was clogged up, but she showed that quick first step and then the pro hop to split 2 defenders. That was a big-time move.
Yeah, she is the type of guard who can score 10 points in a 2-minute spurt, and you just turn your head once, and all of a sudden you're looking at an entirely different scoreline. McCartney had a stretch in the semifinal where she scored 10 points in a 3-minute stretch in the win against Crosby. Backdoor cut for Middleton, and there's another one of those high-quality looks.
It's just so pretty. It's great offense, and give them a lot of credit that they've had the poise to execute here, even in the emotion of a big conference championship game like this.
Siders was feeling it, but off on the 3. Offensive board. Grimshaw on a retrigger. And they start the second half with McCartney on the bench, but Siders banks one home.
Well, that's about a 12-foot runner off the glass, going to her left side and shooting it with her right hand. I mean, the degree of difficulty on that shot was incredibly high.
And she scored both buckets this half, creating for herself as the point guard. Second quarter, when McCartney was in, she played off the ball. Do you think she's just more suited to be playing with the ball in her hand throughout?
Well, I think the difference is that Siders is more of she's going to create for herself, where McCartney will create for others.
Anderson with another clean look right around the rim. Torrington's getting anything it wants inside about a 10-foot bubble around the hoop.
Well, when you shoot the ball that well from the perimeter and then you've got a good cutting game, you're really hard to defend because you can't go zone. Too good of a shooting team to go zone, and their passing and cutting is just picking apart man-to-man right now.
And Cornish just wiped away Grimshaw on the one end, Cipriano the steal on the other, and here goes Siders out of the sprinter's block like it's a 100-meter dash to the rim.
Yeah, that's I tell you what, she's got 6 points in 2.5 minutes, and they are 3 big-time plays.
Just accelerated through 2 defenders, going faster than them with the ball when they didn't have the ball.
Here's offense is so pretty.
Yeah, beautiful feed again, and Anderson's all alone. Back-to-back buckets for Anderson. She has 4, and Torrington's been able to withstand the Sider surge to stay up 8.
Well, Holy Cross has got to do something defensively to change this game because Siders isn't capable of keeping this up for 13 more minutes here, and Torrington just having their way right now. You look at, I mean, this is like 1960 basketball with the pass and cut, the extra pass. I mean, it's just real pretty to watch.
And meanwhile, Holy Cross has just subbed in 2015 basketball with a couple of freshmen, Ward and McCartney, who will play that run and cut style even further. We saw early in the game, Holy Cross's pressure defense had some success slowing Torrington down, but lately, Torrington's broken the press so easily.
Well, and you know what's been interesting, they haven't tried to pick up really, their press hasn't been very aggressive because they've scored 3 times in a row, but have yet to really been able to speed Torrington up on the offensive end. And in my mind, tempo is a big factor here.
How much of that do you think is that Siders is holding back with the 2 fouls? Because generally, she's so aggressive defensively.
You know, that could be, but I think, you know, she's not holding back on the offensive end right now. She's just got to be, when you're in foul trouble, you've got to actually work harder with your feet to be in the right position, but be smarter with your hands. And I think that's a mistake a lot of young players make, is they get slow with their feet. You got to beat people to the spot when you're in foul trouble.
And Torrington has been taking a bit of it out of its rhythm on this possession. Still a backdoor for Pergola. Tough shot. She was challenged well by Cipriano. Siders ahead of the pack. Bounces for Cipriano. Siders to the rim. That's too easy.
And I thought Siders traveled on that one. I thought she shuffled her feet right on that catch. And see, this is, to me, this is Holy Cross's best chance, when they can rattle Torrington on the offensive end and try and create offense from their defense.
Back to a 6-point game. That was the halftime deficit for Holy Cross as well. And Mike Fritsch wants a timeout, as offensively Holy Cross has started to get things going. There's a look at Frank Lombardo on the other end for Holy Cross, who was pretty fired up heading to the locker room at halftime.
We get another look at Siders' last bucket here. And now watch the feet. Watch them shuffle. See, one goes forward, one goes back. That's a travel.
It's a patient play by Cipriano, who didn't try to force it from beneath the hoop and made the extra pass. Cornish no good from the block. All of a sudden, Torrington's picked up the offensive rebounding, though. Second chance for Taylor Howe. Rattles out. Here's a third offensive chance and a third foul on Rashana Siders.
Well, that's a big one. I'll tell you what Cornish has to do there, it's the same give-and-go extra pass action we saw earlier, but Cornish has got to step in right at the last second, and that way she can turn what was a 5-footer without an angle to the basket into a layup.
Frank Lombardo Lombardo's going to trust his junior star guard, Rashana Siders, and keep her in with 3 fouls. The way she's been playing offensively, they really can't afford to take her out. Pergola's rejected, drove right into a triple team.
See, that was their worst offensive possession of the quarter. So, you know, she might have been taking those shots yesterday when 7 people were on her, but right now, the way they're executing offensively, that's not the right play.
Siders off on the 3, long board, and Cipriano's teed up again.
Well, again, Cipriano just had the angle right on the catch, caught the defender leaning on the high side, and was able to make just that quick turn and score move.
Century McCartney found her for the assist as well. Howe passes up the 3. Cipriano with 10 points today, quietly keeping Holy Cross in this game.
Well, she's been huge. You know, you've mentioned it, that we haven't seen the same offensive contribution from McCartney, at least in the scoring column, that we expected, and she's really stepped up to fill that void.
Another cut, but a recovery from McCartney, who reached in and stripped Anderson. Best defense we've seen from Holy Cross over the past couple possessions. Here's McCartney. Beautiful feed. Wave off the shot. It's a blocking foul.
Well, it's a block, but it was probably a good attempt because it prevented a layup. So, understandably, Coach Fritsch not very happy. But I tell you what, that's a good foul one way or the other because you saved 2 points.
I'll throw it on Howe. Maybe she was a bit under the basket, but it did look like she might have had her feet planted there.
Yeah, that was an easy call.
So a 4-point lead for Torrington. But Holy Cross was down by as much as 8 this half, so they've started to whittle away at the deficit. Cipriano draws the foul. Here in the second half, Cipriano starting to become a focal point on the offense. In the first half, she had to create her.
Well, and you know what she's doing a great job of? Establishing position, so when she catches it, she just has to score. Notice, that's what you call a duck in, when you get that defender pinned on the back and you get really wide there, and a great job establishing her numbers to the passer.
McCartney draws a double team and resets the offense. That was a 3rd foul on Mia Barbieri of Torrington, and Torrington's 3rd of this half. Open look, Gabby Goldman, no good. It's now 3 of 18 from 3 for Holy Cross. Middleton ahead of the pack, sticks it home.
Well, again, I think Torrington doesn't want to run at all costs, but they're going to be opportunistic. That's, you know, we've seen that a couple times tonight. If they've got a leak out or they've got a numerical advantage, they'll take it, and they've been efficient in those opportunities.
Kept their lead up to 6 without Pergola scoring here in this second half. Siders way out and off on another 3. They're now 3 for 20 from downtown as that one hops out of bounds and stays with Holy Cross.
Yeah, and Siders, I think, again, the only thing that we've seen Holy Cross been able to do really consistently in the half court offensively has been offensive rebound, and they've done a nice job playing out of Cipriano on the post. Siders has made a couple of incredible shots, and you look, she's got really good numbers, but I think they've got to get this game going up and down for Siders and McCartney to be able to really do what they do best.
They shoot about 40%, but she's only hit 1 3-pointer so far. Beautiful feed for Cipriano. Give the assist to McCartney.
Well, again, a great seal from Cipriano, but McCartney just with a really heady play.
Anderson beat Holy Cross down the floor to draw the foul on Ward. That's just something that Coach Lombardo is going to be shaking his head about on the sideline. He turned around in disgust. They didn't get back.
Well, not only did she run the floor that time, but she made a nice little move to get under the defender's arm and then draw the contact.
We talked about Anderson before the game. She's one of those players who does the little things to help this Torrington team. Rebounds well, scores enough. Today she's got 5 points, but that was the type of play that's really indicative of what she does well.
Yeah, where on the stat sheet does it tell you who sprints the floor? It doesn't. You know, where on the stat sheet does it tell you who's rotating the best out of the corner of the zone? It doesn't.
Hopped all over the rim before McCartney grabbed the board and traveled. Got bumped by Covington and lost her footing. Give it back to Torrington, a 5-point lead for the Raiders as we approach the final 90 seconds of the third quarter.
Well, here, you know, it's an interesting call because technically, if you get tripped, whether it's intentional or not, another pretty play. If you get tripped, whether it's intentional or not, it is technically a foul, and that time she did get tripped.
9 points now for Middleton as Torrington continues to get good looks. Siders drills a much-needed 3 to end about a quarter-long drought from downtown.
Well, maybe she had 7 defenders guarding her in practice yesterday, because I really, you know, that's what Holy Cross is really depending on to keep them in this game right now, is her heroics.
She has 18 of the 41 for Holy Cross.
And remember, she missed the better part of the first half on the bench.
Here's another look. This time she was right in rhythm, and the guard didn't get over there. That was Howe closing way too late.
Well, again, and we saw that in the first half. Notice that was on the left side of the floor again. That was the danger spot in the first half as well.
Probably would have liked to see Middleton come and close up from the wing.
Absolutely.
McCartney hits a three, and if she gets going, look out.
Yeah, well, back-to-back threes, and all of a sudden it's just a one-point game. Torrington's got to slow down here. See, you can kind of tell they start to get rushed. That's exactly what Holy Cross wants.
Pergola somehow catches the pass and scores.
Wow, SportsCenter top 10 nomination?
That was a nifty one-handed snag to stem the tide a bit and give Torrington a 3-point lead.
It's like the John Wall 360 layup, just with her feet on the ground.
Heat check for Siders, who took a contested three straight out of bounds.
Well, I don't think it's going to bother her. She'll take the next one, too, and it'll in. So, got to be a smart play here by Coach Lombardo, getting her off the floor, one last defensive possession so she won't pick up her fourth.
How about Pergola's catch again? And not only does it keep her from getting up that fourth foul, but he can also steal a little bit extra of a break for her here heading into the quarter break
absolutely.
as well.
Yep, great point.
You see that at the college level where coaches use that media timeout from time to time to steal an extra breather for their stars.
Nope, those are terrific points. Right on.
Here's Middleton straight away.
Nice.
Open look. Anderson didn't go. That would have been huge near the end of the quarter. Tough shot from Howe, who thought she had less time to throw it up. And that ends quarter number 3. Not the look Torrington wanted there, but still, the Raiders hold a 3-point lead heading to quarter 4.
Well, just the game we hoped for, and it's going to be an exciting final 8 minutes.
Holy Cross started to hit from the outside. Century McCartney finally on the board. It's a 1-score game heading to quarter 4. Witness all of the action from the unique, uncharacteristic building that has brought you many championship memories over the years. Ingles Ice Hockey, or the Yale Whale, the 2015 CIAC Boys Ice Hockey Championship from the Ingles Rink at the Yale New Haven. Visit cptvsports.org for cptvsports.org for broadcast listings in your area. Ingles Ice Hockey, March 20th through the 22nd, only on CPTV Sports. That is some kind of building and a great venue for the Connecticut Hockey Championships. Here in the NVL Championship, the 1-seed Holy Cross up on the ropes against the 2-seed Torrington, though Pergola is short on the layup. Torrington led by as much as 8 in the third quarter, Adam Finkelstein, but offensively, Holy Cross has started to stretch the 2-3 zone with a couple threes. DeZinzo for the tie.
Well, the gates are open now, and that's 3 threes in a row, and that's not good news. We'll see if they pull Holy Cross out of the zone.
Going for the full court pressure here to try and force a turnover. The 10-second count is on. Pergola heave-hos it forward, and Anderson breaks the timeline. Middleton draws the foul on Cipriano. That was making something out of nothing right there for Torrington on that possession.
Well, there was an ever so subtle ball fake that time from Middleton as she came in for that layup. Watch it right here. Just a little ball rock that threw the defender off balance and allowed her to get up and into the contact.
Holy Cross was 3 for its first 19 from 3. They're now 3 for their last 4 to tie this game up, coming from 8 down. DeZinzo has 3 3-pointers. Siders has hit 2, 18 points overall. And McCartney hit the last 3 for Holy Cross. First free throw doesn't go for Middleton. 9 points today. She has battled. She's the one who got caught up underneath the scorer's table in the first quarter in this compact gym here at Alumni Hall. Sat out for about a quarter, but she has gutted it out to provide some extra minutes and some senior leadership for Torrington.
Well, and you can see frustration starting to set in here, and that's what's going to happen down the stretch. 7 minutes, got a tie game. Whichever team keeps their cool the best is going to have a chance to be champions.
Pass down low, it bounces around, and it is out off of Middleton. Another open look for Holy Cross on that last three-pointer, Adam.
Well, 3 times 3, quick 9-0 run here from Holy Cross, and that's brought them right back into the game, and that dead ball is going to give them an opportunity to set their full court pressure. Anytime they can pressure Holy Cross at this point, I think they're going to try and do it, because even a possession like that might not be a turnover, but a forced shot is exactly what they want.
I feel like Holy Cross's defense has really picked up over the last few minutes. Do you think some of that is just when a team starts getting it going on offense like Holy Cross has, it's almost contagious, and it kind of slips out over the defensive end of the floor as well?
Well, and I think conversely for Torrington, once they start giving up a couple of threes, it's, you know, they just get a little tighter, start to rush that much more, and I don't know that their composure against pressure has been quite as good in the last couple of minutes.
Taylor Howe picks up the 5th Torrington foul. Likely free throws will come into it down the stretch. It's 5 fouls on Torrington, already 4 on Holy Cross. So don't expect either of these teams to play clean the rest of the way.
And again, that'll be a battle of nerves.
Yeah, definitely. You'd give a slight edge to Torrington if it gets to that point. They have more experienced players. They have 4 seniors in their core 5. But Holy Cross has also played in these types of situations before, and they're the defending champs.
I think Holy Cross has more individual talent, has more dynamic talent, people like this who can make plays down the stretch when it matters the most. I think Torrington is the group that is maximizing what they have, though, and really trusting their stuff. So it's an interesting contradiction and kind of a fun dynamic to watch play out here.
And it's interesting, we were talking at halftime about how for Holy Cross, they got so close to the Mohegan Sun Arena last year, losing in the state semifinals to New London. Siders alone for 3, doesn't get it to go. So they're thinking bigger. They're thinking about getting back to Mohegan Sun. For Torrington playing in Class L, you know, at the end of the day, you have Capital Prep sitting there somewhere during the CIAC tournament, and Capital Prep is so dominant. This is what you want. Torrington would be set up to meet them in the final, as here's a layup for Siders and a lead for Holy Cross for the first time this half. So obviously you want to go into a game against Capital Prep down the stretch thinking that you can beat them in a state championship, but they're so dominant that this might be your best chance to take home some type of trophy this year.
Well, and I think these are the local rivalries too. Yep. So lots of times when kids are in the driveway, I know at least me growing up in Connecticut, when you were in the driveway thinking about a game over the summer, it was very rarely the state championship game. It was beating the guys from the town next door in the local gym where it's packed and you know everybody in here. I think this is as big as it gets for both of these teams, really.
Yeah, especially these two teams who are just the preeminent powers in the NVL year in, year out. It seems like at least one of these teams is in the championship game. Jumper for Cornish doesn't go. How about Holy Cross? They've scored 6 in a row. They've come back from 8 down. And now they have all the momentum. McCartney, stop and pop. Cipriano's there for the offensive board. Siders into the paint, nifty move, and she scores.
That is again, I've used this phrase a couple of times, but that's big time. You don't see a whole lot of kids at this level make moves like that.
Timeout, Holy Cross, 22 for Siders, and 8 straight points for the Crusaders.
Well, the superstar putting her team on her back right now, and this is pretty stuff. Watch the pro hop again. 3 defenders converge on her. She eludes them all. Easy 2.
51-47, a 4-point lead for Holy Cross with 5:10 to go here in the 4th quarter of this NVL championship game. Now, Adam, if you're looking ahead to the final 5:10, what is your biggest key for Torrington if they're going to stem the momentum here and turn the game around?
Well, they've got to have poise. They've got to get back to doing what if they try and play one-on-one with Holy Cross, or they're not going to win that battle. But they've got to get back to running their stuff, trusting their offense, and really trying to score with that player and ball movement that we saw throughout the first 3 quarters. And once that happens, they'll get opportunities from behind the 3-point line. But it all stems from their ability to handle that pressure and take care of the basketball at the beginning of each possession.
Let's take a look at some of the big plays from Rashana Siders today. 22 points, 12 in the second half. She started with a flurry, scored the first 6 points of the half for Holy Cross, and now she has picked it up down the stretch with a couple big buckets. There she set up McCartney for the layup and then followed up her own miss. But those two are so quick that they're beating Torrington down the floor.
She's been incredible here in the 3rd quarter, and she is, I'm going to say, single-handedly the difference in this game right now.
4-point lead for Holy Cross here over Torrington, 51-47. Raiders led by 6 at halftime. They've led by as much as 8 today. Trying to see if they can get some quality looks again like they did through the first 3 quarters. They've only scored 1 bucket here in quarter 4. They hit a big jumper for Shelby Howe. Her second 3, she has 13.
Well, the 3-point line, the great equalizer.
1-point lead for Holy Cross. Siders can't get it to go. Cipriano's follow doesn't go. Here's Ward on a 3rd try, and it's ripped away by Barbieri.
Well, they said Torrington's not going to win a one-on-one game with Holy Cross. Holy Cross isn't going to win a 3-point shooting contest with Torrington.
Easy follow for Anderson, and Torrington scored 5 straight to reclaim the lead.
And McCartney came there to start the offense, and Sider said, I'm running it, out of my way.
The junior team leader, one of the best players in the NVL, sensing the moment. Beautiful feed, though, to find a wide open Ward down low.
Well, it all started with a post-entry pass from McCartney. She is her passing ability at a young age is really extraordinary.
Yeah, it doesn't look like a freshman out there.
Not at all. That was with the left hand.
Pergola's been quiet here in the second half. Just 2 points after 14 in the first half. Still, Torrington is stuck right in this game. How do they get Pergola involved right now? She's been picked up by McCartney.
Yeah, you know, I don't know. See, that's what they need to do. They need more plays like that where they trust. That's been their best offense today. Pergola has been at her best when she scored within the offense.
She left it short. Now she's calling for a breather. She is out of gas. Has taken 5 shots. She's not getting, well, now she is getting replaced from the game. She was walking back down, and now she'll head out. There's 6 on the floor, so Coach Fritsch going to sort things out with a timeout. I don't think he wants to take his top scorer, Pergola, out of this game, so he'll use the timeout as a breather.
Well, that's why you save your timeouts down the stretch, especially in big games, because you don't want to take your best players off the floor.
Joe Zone and John Holt speak to all the coaches and players that make what we do matter. Thursday nights at 7 p.m. on Game Time. Hear all of the exciting stories, matchups, and see the latest power poll only on Game Time, Thursdays at 7 on cptv Sports. 53-52, Holy Cross over Torrington. Here's a look at one of the recent Holy Cross possessions. They've started to find a way to get some better looks from outside, and Adam on the interior gotten very strong play from both Caitlin Cipriano and Ayanna Ward.
Well, and I think for Torrington, what's been key is when they faced that deficit, they came right back and had that quick 5-0 run. So now it's back to a 1-possession game, or 1-point game, excuse me, and really give Torrington a lot of credit. They've led the whole game. The first sign of adversity, they responded with a 5-0 run.
Yeah. Holy Cross had the lead for a good chunk of the first quarter, but Torrington led throughout the second and the third. Holy Cross came from 8 down to take the lead. And now they have the lead again by 1 with 3:34 to go. And these teams played a 1-possession game back in December. No surprise at all to see them locked in a close one again here at the end.
And it's been an exciting game, no doubt. It's also been a good game, and what I mean, it's been a well-played game by both sides. I mean, we've seen Siders play incredible. I think that McCartney's been much better than her numbers will indicate, and Torrington has executed better than any team I've seen so far this year.
Yeah, the turnovers have been relatively low, too. 13 for Holy Cross, 12 for Torrington. That foul on the floor is the 6th on Torrington, so the next one will send Holy Cross to the free throw line.
Well, that's a direct result of Sider's ability to get into the lane, and you know, Coach Fritsch from the Torrington bench, he wants traveling called on her, but I think her jump stops have been legal.
There's a 14th turnover for Holy Cross off the inbound. It gives Torrington a chance to take the lead. Shelby House had 13 points today, but she passed up a look to feed Pergola for the foul. Tag it on McCartney.
Well, I think anytime she can get herself to the free throw line, hope I don't give her the broadcast jinx here, but it's going to be a good thing. She's such a good shooter of the basketball that I think when she attacks, that's going to be one of her main options, is to draw that contact.
And she hits an important free throw to tie the game. Just a sophomore, but Coach Fritsch and the Torrington folks are very high on her. They think she definitely has D1 potential.
Oh, yeah.
And you've said that throughout the game when you see just how crisp she is as an offensive player.
Well, and how smart she is as an offensive player. I think sometimes that's the biggest thing for kids they get to college and they've really got to fit into an offensive system for the first time, but she's got an intellect well beyond her years, and she's obviously been really well coached too. I mean, this has been a very impressive Torrington offense.
She has 18 points. It's a 1-point lead for Torrington. We've had 3 lead changes here in the fourth quarter.
Hard to imagine anybody but Rashana Siders shooting this ball.
A huge screen and a foul. Cipriano pushed her arms out full extension. When you do that, that's generally going to lead to the foul call.
Well, not only that, but her legs, her feet were moving, and she extended her arms, so made. And again, you just hope nobody's hurt here.
Looks like Shelby Howe's getting her bearings back, and they're helping her off to the sideline.
Well, Coach Lombardo upset. You could read his lips. He said that's the same thing. It's easy for us to say up here with the replay, but it really wasn't.
CPTV Sports presents the 2015 CIAC Winter Championships. We've got championship coverage of CIAC wrestling, indoor track, cheerleading, plus the bowling invitational, Ingles ice hockey, and the Run to the Sun. Visit our website for broadcast listings in your area. While you're there, keep updated with the latest in Connecticut sports by listening to our CPTV Sports Wire. It's all available on our website, cptvsports.org, and Pergola's wearing out that path to the free throw line here in quarter 4.
But that, to me, is where she's at her best. Her ability to move without the basketball. You know, I think, you know, a star player, you say you want her to be aggressive, you think, okay, create off the dribble. She's been at her best attacking without the ball, and then being in those situations to catch and finish or catch and get to the free throw line. And a lot of that credit goes to the people who are passing her the ball, too.
She has 19. Siders had 22. 2 stars in the NVL have lived up to their full billing. And it's been a real battle here, nip and tuck the whole way. Pergola's up to 20 points. It's a 3-point lead for Torrington. The Raiders have led by as much as 8 today.
Well, we talked about poise. How about the sophomore going 4 of 4 down the free throw line here, down the stretch?
Maybe a few more free throws coming her way if Torrington keeps the lead. That 3 doesn't go for McCartney, but she followed her miss. Cipriano free in front. She has 14 today.
Yeah, she's been great. Really the unsung hero.
Race down the floor. That maybe could have been a travel on Anderson. That's what the Holy Cross crowd wants for sure. Instead, Torrington can run the clock with less than 2 minutes to go.
And that's the great part about this gym is the dynamics right now. The acoustics make for an extra exciting last couple of minutes.
Oh yeah, there could be some complaints about the cozy confines, but you gotta love the atmosphere right now with everybody within a couple of feet of the floor.
You're not kidding about that either.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you look at the benches on the other side of the floor, and there is no room. Everybody's sitting with their legs pulled into their chest to make sure they're not sticking out over the floor.
You know what? There are college gyms that are like this too.
Yep.
So I mean, this is something that some people do intentionally to create an atmosphere.
Yeah, a couple local college gyms pretty tightly packed like this. Yale, Harvard in the Ivy League as well have the crowd basically standing on the floor. McCartney almost jumped the passing lane. Instead, Torrington pulls it out. They've burned already 30 seconds of clock. If you're Torrington, though, you may be going into the stall offense a bit too early here because there's a turnover by Middleton.
I think Torrington was just trying to get organized. They never really had their spacing set and give Holy Cross's defense credit there for taking them out. Now it's Coach Lombardo wants a timeout.
There's 83 seconds left in this game. You think there's any chance you see anyone not named Rashawn Siders be the focal point of the offense here down the stretch?
None whatsoever.
We want you to reach out and thank the folks for catching us tonight on our YouTube stream. Subscribe to our YouTube channel to view highlights of tonight's action and more CPTV sports content. Also, don't forget about You Choose along with YouTube, where you pick the athlete of the week, the CPTV Sports You Choose athlete of the week. Each week, you can find out the You Choose winner on cptvsports.org/You Choose and vote as well. 56-55, Holy Cross trails Torrington. Holy Cross won the championship last year. An 8-point lead at one point in the third quarter, Adam, but Holy Cross has been able to whittle away at that Torrington 8-point lead. They've taken their own leads, and they've gotten some great play on the inside from Caitlin Cipriano.
They absolutely have. Different players have stepped up, and I tell you what, this is exactly the ending we were hoping for. Tremendous atmosphere, and what's going to be, I guarantee you for these kids, a lifelong memory.
And we mentioned the atmosphere. It's getting so loud I can hardly hear what's going on in my headset at the moment here courtside. We're right in the thick of the fans.
I sound
just
great,
off to the left.
Yeah,
I'm sure of that for sure. Folks in the truck are coming through a little bit less smoothly right now, but that's what you love about this atmosphere with the crowd right on top of the floor, and a really, really exciting finish coming over the final 80 seconds. Holy Cross led by its star, Rashana Siders, 22. Torrington led by Bree Pergola's 20. Siders off on the jumper. McCartney gobbles up the board. The Zinazo got caught up beneath the hoop, but somehow saved possession. We have 60 seconds to play in the NVL Championship. McCartney ran into trouble, and Torrington gets the steal. Do you start to foul immediately if you're Holy Cross?
You know, they're going to be able to. No, I don't think you do. I don't think you have to, because the next foul sends them to the free throw line. So that's a luxury. You don't have any fouls to give. They have to decide right now what they're going to try and do to turn Torrington over, though.
You can make tonight's game more memorable by catching all the action whenever you want it. Purchase a DVD copy to enjoy this game for many years to come. Visit the link on the screen below. cptv Sports, the best in Connecticut sports. Well, good chance for Holy Cross to take the lead in the final minute, Adam, but the defense from Torrington really stepped up. That was Kendra Covington who took that step from the middle of the zone to challenge and double team McCartney.
Well, it was a really good defensive rotation, and it was an instinctive one too, because it was off a broken play. But now that scenario all leads us here, and I think this is a dangerous spot for Torrington. They have this 1-point lead, 50 seconds to go. I don't think you can freeze the ball for 50 seconds. I don't even know that you should try, but I think what they've got to do is be really precise with their spacing, sharp with their cuts, sharp with their passes. You know that Torrington is going to try and double team. If you work that passing and cutting game, you can hopefully get something going to the rim.
Holy Cross has 6 players on the floor, and now they bring off Casey DeZinzo. 8 fouls today on Holy Cross, 6 on Torrington.
Give the officials credit. That would have been easy to call a technical foul, but at this point I think you want to let the players determine the game. So.
Yeah, definitely. The Torrington crowd wants the technical, but in a championship game that's been such a good game, you don't want to see that decided.
Let the players decide.
So one more foul for Holy Cross before Torrington would get the double bonus, and that's a 5-second violation.
Yeah, she was wide open. I'm not sure what happened that time. And
Shelby Howe never got it in. The defense for Holy Cross was there.
But look right there.
Yep, a couple open players calling
Brittany
for the ball.
Anderson was wide open.
Holy Cross has called over the players to Frank Lombardo. The officials are chatting on the sideline as well. I don't believe this is a timeout, but an official discussion. And don't forget, if you want to keep updated on everything going on, tonight's conference championship game action marks the official start of our postseason. You can tweet #RunToTheSun to our @CPTV Sports handle during tonight's telecast, and we'll be sure to get back to you. Keep it up. Discuss all of the wild twists and turns over the next month, and you're telling me about twists and turns. This game has already been a roller coaster ride back and forth, and in the final 60 seconds, here's Siders off on the 3. McCartney couldn't grab the rebound, and Pergola takes it back for Torrington. Middleton smartly slams on the brakes, and now Holy Cross has to foul, but first a timeout from Torrington's Michael Fritsch.
Well, you know what's risky about that play now is you give Torrington an opportunity to defend an out-of-bounds play and potentially force a 5-second call, which is a weapon they'll have here. And I think what Coach Fritsch was trying to do is make sure that he got the ball in the right hands, knowing that a foul was coming. So it's you have to kind of risk-reward there, but you can see he's willing to kind of take on that special situation of having to get the ball in if it means an opportunity to get the ball to the right player.
And there's Frank Lombardo, a very animated coach on the sidelines. What's he saying in the huddle right now to his defense to try and force that 5-second violation?
Yeah, I think that. I think what you'll see is you'll see them deny, probably switch all screens here, and then if they get the ball in, it's just a matter of whether they want to foul right away or whether they want to try and force an initial trap and then foul after that.
Would you guard the ball here? It doesn't look like Holy Cross is going to, and now they'll send Siders over in front of the ball.
Well, but even Siders is kind of playing just to get the first receiver.
Got it in easily that time, and here's Howe. and the foul comes to her. So Shelby Howe, who had it in her hands before the timeout, has it in her hands here afterwards to shoot 1-1. With a 1-point lead for Torrington in the NVL championship game, the Raiders trying to unseat the defending champion Crusaders.
Now, the risky thing that Howe did there was she picked up her dribble without knowing what she was going to do with the ball.
Double team came to her, but luckily they didn't go for the steal. She was fouled almost immediately. You called it about 20-25 minutes ago that there's a good chance this game could come down to free throw shooting at the end.
Right.
Here we are, free throw shooting, very important here for Howe. I was trying to give you some credit, Adam. Trying to make you look like an expert over here. Howe's off on the free throw. Big rebound for Cipriano, and she's fouled.
Yep.
So she'll go all the way down the floor to shoot a 1-1 for a chance to give Holy Cross the lead.
I think right now for both teams, they've got to have a next play type of mentality. They can't be worried about opportunities wasted. Their focus has got to be on the here and now, because even if both of these free throws go down, it's still a one-possession game. It's still going to come down to the very last possession of this game.
Now we've talked about that atmosphere. Cipriano will feel it now. A lot of pressure on the junior center, who's had an outstanding game today. 14 points for Holy Cross. And she's short on the free throw and air ball.
Yeah, but the dead ball here, Holy Cross is going to be able to set their full court defense. Torrington has got to be really precise. They can't assume that Holy Cross is going to give a foul in the backcourt. I don't think they will. I think they'll try and get a 10-second call first and then foul over half court.
Cipriano is 7 for 9 from the field, but now she's 0 for 2 from the stripe. It comes into Pergola, who Torrington wants to have the ball here. Pressure comes to her. Siders knocks it free. Here's Ward with the steal. Extra pass inside. The layup rattles off for Volano. And we have a foul on the floor on Torrington. 11.9 to go. A 1-1 opportunity for little-used senior Jessica Berry. Maybe the most important free throws of her career.
Well, I think certainly the most important free throws of her career. We'll see and a timeout. Now this is interesting. Holy Cross with the timeout here. It's usually the opposing team that calls the timeout trying to freeze the shooter, but Holy Cross calls it that time.
Well, we'll see. Berry only averages about 1.5 points a game. She's been coming in on the platoon down the stretch here. Offense, defense substitutions for the defense. Helps force the turnover, but ends up with the ball in her hands fouled. Coach Lombardo was trying to get a timeout before that foul came. Sure, he wanted to draw up a play for Siders. Instead, a free throw opportunity. And now, would you think he called that timeout to set up the defense in case of a miss?
I think right now, I think he's going over both scenarios here. You want your kids to know exactly what you're going to do, make or miss, and because on that last, and these are the type of situations. Let me say this. Hopefully both teams have practiced these special situations, because if they haven't, it's really hard to be able to expect the kids to take what they get in the timeout with this type of adrenaline and be able to execute it perfectly in game situations.
It's been a great atmosphere here. Say what you want about the size of the gym, but it is set up for a wild finish here at Alumni Hall in the NVL Championship. Jessica Berry with the game on her right hand. Free throw doesn't go. Ward the follow. She's stripped. Ward gets it back. And a jump ball is called. Possession arrow to Holy Cross. And now, you think Siders taking the shot here to win the game?
Well, I think it's a baseline out of bounds play. So I think it's going to be, again, it comes down to what's in the playbook. And this is what I mean right here. I think the worst thing you can do as a coach in this situation is try and draw up something different. This has got to be a play that your kids have run successfully time and time again, and they can do it without having to think too much, because in the last 8 seconds, this is just pure instinct the kids are going to be playing on.
Now, if you're looking for scoring options, obviously the 22 today for Siders. Caitlin Cipriano scored 14, and we've seen her get free down low off inbound passes a couple times.
And she's been great in baseline out of bounds situations.
There's that last chance to put the game away for Torrington, but they have not been able to rebound well all game long defensively. And here, a couple second chances for Holy Cross to extend this possession.
You can look back at this last minute, and it's been opportunities missed on both sides, but that's what you get in a high school championship game. I mean, these are 16, 17-year-old kids, and this is the type of energy and pressure they've really never felt before in their lives.
It's a 56-55 game. We have the Southwest Conference Championship coming live tomorrow, and if that's anything like this game has turned out to be, it'd be in for another gem. Catch it live 7 p.m. on cptvsports.org.
Critical for Torrington here. They have to stay in front of Cipriano. They cannot allow her to get a seal to the basket.
Siders is up top left in this formation. McCartney down low left. Cipriano low right. The inbounder is Casey DeZinzo. And she has to use a timeout. Nobody came free. Both these coaches did a good job saving their timeouts for the first 3 quarters. They've had basically their full supply here down the stretch in quarter 4.
I think that's really important, especially in postseason play, where the kids, because of the adrenaline, are going to get a little more fatigued than they typically do. So you can, and you've seen Coach Fritsch. He used the timeout just to give his kids a breather, and both coaches have been able to use them to make sure they're able to their kids on these final possessions of the game.
We have a final from the CCC as well. Farmington takes the girls basketball CCC championship, handing South Windsor its first loss of the season in the CCC title game.
That's a good Farmington team. We saw them earlier this year on CPTV Sports.
Now 7.7 to go here.
This is going to be a screen the screener here for the players on the inside after Siders comes curling off.
Holy Cross looking to defend the championship. McCartney.
Swinging Siders back.
Bounce for Ward, 2 to shoot. Ward for the win. Oh. No good. And Torrington wins the NVL championship. Never were able to get it to Rashana Siders there, but still a pretty good look at the end for Holy Cross.
They got a great look. Let me just say this. Kudos to both teams. A well-played game by both sides. You feel for the team that doesn't win the game like this, but Torrington did a great job of executing from start to finish.
Now here's a look at how it ended. They got it into McCartney, could never find Siders. McCartney to Ward. She got the look they wanted, but it didn't fall. Torrington has won 20 straight games. They are 22-1 and NVL champs. We'll be back to interview the player of the game next on CPTV Sports.
Attention, please, ladies and gentlemen. Please exit the gymnasium through either side entrance. Once again, please exit the gym doors. Thank you. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we'd like to present our trophies. First, the runner-up trophy to the Holy Cross Crusaders and Coach Frank Lombardo. And now, ladies and gentlemen, your 2015 NVL Girls Basketball Tournament champions, Coach Mike Fritsch and the Torrington Red Raiders. your 2015 Tournament Most Valuable Player from Torrington, number 13, Bree Pergola.
Torrington wins 56-55. Torrington, the NVL champions. They beat Holy Cross. Crusaders got a chance down the stretch. They had the ball down by 1, and Ayanna Ward got a really good look, but just couldn't get it to go. Never could get it to Rashana Siders, but Ward in the lane came up just shy at the buzzer. Torrington wins. They rode 20 points from Bree Pergola, and Paige Middleton scored 9 points as well. Adam Finkelstein is with them both, Bree Pergola and Paige Middleton.
All right, we're here with Paige and Bree. First of all, congratulations on the championship, on your MVP award. I'm going to start, though, with the senior. It was a scare at the beginning of the game. You went down, but talk to us. It's a big veteran squad, a lot of seniors on this team. Talk about what it means to you guys in your year.
Well, we won our sophomore year, and we wanted to come back and repeat. We knew we were coming in against a really hard team. We knew they had a bunch of really good players, and we just had to come out and play our A game. And we did.
You certainly did tonight. The offense was pretty from start to finish. Now, the MVP, talk to us about what you did here tonight.
I just kind of did whatever. I mean, my teammates helped me really well, and I really appreciate what they do.
And that's got to be a luxury for you. I know you're the leading scorer, but to be surrounded by such veteran experience and depth who seem so I noticed when they announced you as the MVP, it was the seniors who were leading the charge. It's got to be a great feeling.
Yeah, I mean, they're great. I really love them.
Well, hey, guys, congratulations. Terrific job tonight. Good luck in the state tournament.
Thank you.
All right, back to you, Bill.
Thanks, Adam. Well, what a game. 56-55 the win for Torrington. They knock off the defending champs from Holy Cross, but both these teams are set up for great postseason runs. Torrington moves to 22-1. They've won 20 in a row heading into the CIAC playoffs. Holy Cross falls to 21-2, just their second loss of the season, their first loss since December. Torrington led by Bree Pergola's 20 points, but down the stretch, Holy Cross had a chance. Came down to a final play, and the Crusaders just couldn't get it to go. For the crew here, the whole CPTV sports crew from Alumni Hall at Sacred Heart High School in Waterbury, and my partner Adam Finkelstein, this is Bill Spalding signing off, wishing you a pleasant evening on CPTV Sports.